with our kids, I think it's just important to remember what discipline really is. Because we can have rules and constructs and routines and all of these things, but ultimately discipline is about helping your child learn how to make choices and behaviors that are going to be helpful to them.
Sure.
It's about teaching them to make those choices, and so it's not about punishing them for making the wrong choice. With a 2-year-old who might be struggling with some behaviors, you have to remember that they're just learning to navigate the world. And they're still learning what labels and actions even are. So when you're giving them directions, it can be a little more difficult to get them to go along with what you want, because they're still learning what things are called.
Sure.
That they have ways to interact with the world, that they can actually make things happen in the world. And so it's best to give them the right kind of direction.
Right. So Amy, when you're saying labels, that's really interesting. We sometimes assume that children, young children, are little people. They're not little people. They don't always assume what a label is or what something's called. So I like that.
Yeah, and it helps just to get out in front of it, not even talking about if, your child is having a tantrum in the store, but every single day when you're walking around. That the more that you're able to label everything and give everything a name and share what you're doing with your child, you are giving them a context for their world and giving them language and communication skills. Reading is important. We always talk about how reading helps children learn language and communication. But every single thing you do every day with your child is important. I wanted to give a couple tips on how to give really good directions, because it's much easier to go along when you know exactly what's expected of you and when you know what your child's capable of. Directions for a 2-year-old have to be short and specific and clear and easy to follow. So you want to use 1 or 2 steps. An example of that would be something like, put your blocks in the bucket. It's short and easy. When you tell a 2-year-old to clean up, that's kind of a crazy, wild, huge, giant concept that could mean anything. But when you tell them to put their blocks in the bucket, it's just easier.
So
to comply. Simple and short, yes. Okay. And it's always great to tell not just your toddler, but children or people in general that you're speaking with what to do, not what not to do. So rather than saying, don't run, telling your child, when we're inside, we walk. You're showing them what you expect and what will work best, not just, yelling at them for not picking the right thing.
Right. So kind of do's, not don'ts.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So, yeah. But what you were saying about choices, that's a way, too, that, again, this is a strategy you use all the time, not just when they're struggling, and that builds a foundation for them to be able to make the choices that are good for them. For this to work, though, the choices have to be real. If you are giving a child a choice between 2 things, you better be ready to do either thing, or it's not going to work. And this gives them practice making decisions. It doesn't just have to be about big stuff. We make a lot of big decisions as adults. But you can give them an opportunity to choose about literally the most basic things, saying, okay, we're going to bed. It's bedtime. Do you want to wear your Paw Patrol pajamas or your Mickey Mouse pajamas? It seems like a lot easier to just do everything for your kids. But if you give them a lot of options, you empower them to be able to make decisions. That way, when they're harder than, do you want an apple or a banana, they know the format and they're ready to do it.
Right. I like that, Amy, because I know as children grow up and teenagers, having been a school counselor, and I would get high school students that had parents that made all their decisions for them. It's just what you're saying. They were not used to making choices. So to give them a choice is really important, because they need to know that they have options and empower them, as you say, to make a decision, even if that decision is wrong, right? And it's
Yeah.
going to be wrong sometimes.
Yes,
But
definitely.
allow them to make a choice and